The federal government of Nigeria began financial management reforms to address the challenges of transparency, accountability, corruption, and poor service delivery. Now, an empirical analysis of poor public finance management in Nigeria indicates a unit increase in corruption, poor public financial management, institutional problems, not limited to staff absenteeism, well, of course, the late coming to work and the issue of ghost workers leaking and or abuse of government information. Lack of political will. Does that sound the Oransai report of 2014 in any way? Okay. Joining me on our guest interview segment today to throw more an in-depth insight into this subject, technology and public financial management reforms, the journey so far in Nigeria, is Salahu Zubairu, FCA, MNI, a personality that will, in an appropriate terminology in the techie field, be described as the CPU, the Central Processing Unit, on this subject. And of course, we shall be unveiling more on our guests very shortly. And also in this episode, we're sharing a few tidbits concerning the International Accountancy Day, which is tomorrow, November the 10th. And of course, a few, but not limited, things on our social diary space. We'll be talking a little bit about induction of inductees into this noble profession by the Institute of Chartered Accountants of Nigeria. I bid you welcome again, and please stay connected. We shall soon be back with you. Thank you. Welcome back. I mentioned my guests, Alhaji Zubairu, who is going to be unveiled here very shortly. I do not think we now have been, excellent. Mr. Zubairu, you are welcome. Let me start by congratulating you. By congratulating you as one of a few professionals that has single-handedly authored that iconic book, Treasury Single Accounting Policy in Nigeria. And I think that was unveiled in January 2020. Let me ask you, how do you feel as being the CPU, and that's the way I was introducing you in this field of financial management reforms? How do you feel about that?
Yeah, thank you very much. First, I must first commend the Institute of Chartered Accountants of Nigeria for this very innovative idea of reaching out to the public. On the specific, and I want to thank you for the honor to be invited to speak here today. I want to, on the question you asked, I think I'm very highly honored by my country, Nigeria, for giving me the opportunity to contribute my own little quota in the development and implementation of the public's financial management reforms. In the particular case of the Treasury Single Account, I must say that I feel most honored because it was a time when Dr. Dan Kwambo, His Excellency Dr. Dan Kwambo, former governor of Gombe State, I was appointed Accountant General of the Federation, and that was about in 2007. He called me and he said, "Zubairu, you are going to chair a committee on improvement of cash management, And I was asking myself, improving cash management in the public sector? What are we going to do? But to God be the glory. Today, that little beginning is what has crystallized to what we now call Treasury Single Account Policy in Nigeria. So I'm deeply honored and to have the opportunity to have served on that particular committee, which I chaired. Thank you very much.
Congratulations to you and congratulations to the Institute. Let's quickly delve into, you were talking about 2007 when Alhaji Dan Kwambo, also a member of the Institute, called you to do that chairing. And I remember that public financial management actually commenced around 2004 when the World Bank sponsored economic reforms and government projects, ERGP, came up to address issues of transparency, accountability, corruption, etc., etc. Now, in your assessment, how has the nation fared with these public financial management reforms?
Thank you again. You're right. The World Bank, was the government of Nigeria, the federal government of Nigeria, signed agreement with the World Bank in 2004, December specifically, for the implementation of reforms meant to address the issue of corruption, issue of transparency, accountability, probity, and efficiency. And quickly, government commenced action on that. And in fact, in 2007, we started the 2007 April specifically, we started with the IPPIS. IPPIS, actually, the process started around 2005, 2006, but effectively it took off finally in April 2007. And also, when we also look at the other segment of the PFM reforms, like the TSA I did mention, the Government Integrated Financial Management Information System, right, the IPSAS, It's something for me. It's something that we have actually Nigeria has achieved greatly, and this is actually for us as a nation. It's something that we should be proud of because it is also internationally acknowledged that this country has done well in the implementation of PFM reforms. I mean, to show the acknowledgement, I must also state that our country is now today on the global map of IPSAS. It's recognized that Nigeria is one of the countries that is implementing IPSAS accrual accounting.
Ooh. Okay.
It's also in areas of TSA. It's also recognized to the extent that the IMF actually use the Nigeria model as a reference point for trade single account implementation in developing countries. Ooh. It's also as part of those recognition to show that the country is doing well in this PFM reform. It's also the fact that as we speak, the Accountant General of the Federation, Alhaji Ahmed Idris, FCNA, is on the board of the is a member of the consultative advisory group of the International Public Sector Accounting Standard Board. So also one of us, a member of the institute, Mr. Chris Eong, a former Auditor General for Cross River State, is on the IPSAS board. It is because Nigeria is doing well. And in fact, for him, who is even representing Nigeria on the IPSAS board, he's not just representing Nigeria, he's representing Africa and the Middle East. So these are just recognition for us that to know as a nation that the PFM reform we are doing, even if we don't appreciate what we have done, that the outside world recognize and appreciate that we have made a lot of progress in the implementation, and it has brought some level of transparency, level of efficiency, level of political and accountability in what we do.
Super, awesome point, and congratulations to us, congratulations to Nigeria for those recognition. I want to quickly just now nail a little down on the IPPIS. The average person gets to hear about the IPPIS. It comes as a recurring decimal. You know, the federal government, the ASU, the spike, we have this, we have that. And, you know, when the federal government introduced IPPIS, I believe it has resulted in massive reduction in the number of ghost workers. I remember specifically Mrs. Sokunjo Iweala, you know, past, you know, coordinator of finance, said one of the areas she fought to stand still to stupor is this area of ghost workers. And that in turn has reduced humongous personal bills of the federal government. Now, Alhaji Zubairu, is the federal government of Nigeria encouraging subnational governments to embrace and adapt to this policy?
Okay, thank you very much. Like I did mention earlier, the IPPIS was actually the very first of those reforms that came into operation. That is also driven by the Office of the Accountant General of the Federation. That is driven by the Office of the Accountant General of the Federation. And we started with just 7 ministry departments and agencies. And today we are talking of 710 agencies on board of IPPIS, on board of IPPIS. Right. And for education purpose, we need to know that the situation we were then was the fact that government had no idea of the number of its employees. It had no idea of the payroll cost. So what we have is a budget that is just essentially an estimate. So, and because of that, because the budget was not done on the staff count and all that. So with the IPPIS coming on board, so we have been able to achieve that and know who the personnel records are improved. Are there. We know who is. Even the budget is done on that. So on that basis, many states.
Yeah, that will be internet.
So,
okay, go ahead. Yeah. Oh. Except that you are breaking.
And introduce integrated personnel and payroll.
Yes, I get a feel of what you. Yes, I do get a feel.
Yes. So in terms of encouraging the subnational governments, what I'm saying in essence is that we know that we are in the subnational government enjoy fiscal autonomy. So what we have is a situation that persuasively and through a number of forums that we have at the federal level, by way of FAC, Federation Account Allocation Committee. We also have the forum of the National Economic Council that provide the avenue for interaction. Where the state government, because through the Honorable Minister of Finance, they are also able to know what is going on at the federal level. We also have the NACOFET. Annually, we have this engagement with the Honorable Minister of Finance, engaged commissioners of finance across the country through the NACOFET. That's National Council on Finance and Economic Development. So through that, the subnationals are also able to know and interact with the federal government in terms of what is going on. And quite a number of them have actually, key into some of these reforms that is being done at the federal level. Thank you.
Language, work in progress. So the dialogue and the persuasion continues. But then if, like you have described, is being like that, we should be talking of marginal improvement and seeing more on board, like you have said. So why do you think members of the academic community and some other stakeholders are vehemently opposed to this initiative? If, like you said, yes, it's next good, best thing to Adam and Eve.
Yeah, thank you very much. In fact, I want to believe that they are not even opposed to it, because we see it, because currently, opposition there, in this case, I'm saying that the way because I know that the academia are very much keen in improvement of, in efficiency and improvement of service delivery. So my thought always about is about the fact that, well, as academia, they engage, and it is and it's our expectation is that through engagement, they also understand. And as we speak, close to 16,000 of the have on the over 25,000 members that are there. See, those that have been biometrically captured on the IPPIS platform, there are about 16,000 academic staff are on the IPPIS platform.
I see.
In addition, we have 25,000 of them that, though they have not been biometrically captured, but they are being paid through the IPPIS. I think essentially that's why I said that I don't think they are as opposed to it as we see from the outside, because some of them are on the platform, and I know more are coming. And I think it is just about, the whole idea is that the whole thing is a work in progress. A lot of dialogue and a lot of engagement is going on behind the scene. And I think before long, like I did mention, the academia are very interested in the country, the improvement in service, in the service delivery in the country. And I think they're also very interested in efficient government, efficient run of government. So good governance. So, and I don't think they will be opposed to anything that will actually improve improve accountability, improve governance, and improve service delivery in the country. So I strongly believe that before long, they will be fully in. But they are coming in. So I think that's just my comment about. So I'm not want to say that they are
very nice and very comforting to hear. You, as usual, of course, government officials and public officials will say something, and then before you know, after some kind of alignment, the academic committee will come up tangentially from other angle. But it's good to hear that that is still going. Let's look at this now, because as part of the ERGP, the government, the federal government adopted the use of international public sector accounting standards, IPSAS, in 2014, and has successfully trained, which is good to also hear, to IPSAS accrual-based accounting. Now, since this program, we have online viewers from other jurisdictions. Kindly give us an insight into the major steps taken which accounted for this success story.
Okay, thank you very much again. The IPSAS story is also a story that is very dear to my heart. The International Public Sector Accounting Standards was actually adopted by the Federal Executive Council at their meeting in July 2010. And we began the Office of the Accountant General of the Federation without, wasting much time through through in 2011, started working on the issue of the roadmap. And the first thing that was done was through the national body, through the Federation Account Allocation Committee, because it was to be implemented across federal, state, and local government. So what was done was for the FAC, Federation Account Allocation Committee, to set up a technical subcommittee on IPSAS implementation. That was the first step. And the technical subcommittee was saddled with the responsibility of providing a roadmap for the implementation of the international public sector accounting standards in Nigeria. That's at federal and subnational level. So the first thing that was done was coming up with a roadmap. So that was the starting point for the implementation of IPSAS, coming up with a roadmap, and this roadmap was drawn. And the roadmap was drawn with a timeline that between 2014 and 2016 and 2015, since the country has been on cash basis all these years, then transiting through IPSAS cash should not be a challenge. So it was a 2-year period adopted for IPSAS cash basis. So that is 2014, 2015. But with effect from with effect from 1st of January 2016, IPSAS accrual basis now began. And just before its commencement, a national treasury circular was issued to inform federal and state and local government that IPSAS has commenced with effect from 2014 for IPSAS cash basis, and IPSAS accrual basis with effect from 2016. In addition to the roadmap, there was also that was done. That also enabled the technical subcommittee to be able to guide what needs to be done for effective implementation. So when you look at it in terms of what has actually helped to get to where we are, is that you look at first the issue of the fact that you have the political will. So that political will, remember that the Federal Executive Council is under the
Oh yeah. We're having glitches. We're having glitches on network stability. I like Mr. Zubairu, if you can
adopted for public. And meanwhile, I'm hearing you clearly here.
Okay, all right. Okay. I just wanted to ask you. I mean, giving cognizance of what you have just said,
Yes.
and with benefit of hindsight now, do you think certain measures ought to have been put in place before the full blast adoption of IPSAS?
Yes, in terms of, I think we did all we can before, the commencement. Probably the only thing, because already for us, we already have the technology, because IPSAS commenced, IPSAS Akura in particular commenced in 2016. So for us at the federal level, we already have the technology that we are looking at. So we don't have the issue of how are we going to get it implemented. So a number of things were already in place to be able to develop capacity and all that. Probably the fact that I would say that the fact that we have not been able to collect enough information about our legacy assets. So probably that's the only thing for me that the federal level in particular that I think was missing. So because we don't have information on the legacy assets, and meanwhile we say we're implementing Akura, although we also felt that since we have the opportunity to use to leverage on IPSAS 33 on first-time adopter, that within 3 years we should be able to bring those assets in. But unfortunately, we are not. It's still a work in progress.
Excellent point, Mr. Zubairu. I'll give you a breather, give myself a breather, and give our listeners a breather. We'll go on break very, very shortly. And when we come back, we will address a few more of the issues surrounding, finance management going forward, where we are, the good news that you have shared with us, and quite a number of things are work in progress. Please stay on. We will soon be back.
Some oasis in the desert. Necessary to drive economic growth and in support of the public interest.
Thank you very much for staying on, and we will let you know that the 51st Accountants Conference that is coming on at the end of November, running into ending on 3rd of December this year, promises to be one of the best social outings you can ever imagine. It's going to run from November 29th to December the 3rd, where we're going to be having a theme, trust in governance. A lot of the things that my guests, like Mr. Zubairu, has been talking about in terms of getting government to come on. The AFDB president is going to be a guest and you do not want to miss it. You are welcome back, Mr. Zubeiru. And on the first segment, of course, we looked at work in progress and the fact that Nigeria is making its wave. I am also very pleased to say that the institute, the foremost institute of accountancy in Nigeria, our Institute of Chartered Accountants of Nigeria, are making waves through people like you, the former accountant general, I believe, in Akwa Ibom State, all coming up, you and as an author. And it's so very interesting learning that in this second segment, I like to perhaps begin to look at a few of the sub-points, and not necessarily the fault of being counters like ourselves, but just exactly what we found. Now, the Finance Control and Management Act of 1958, that comes back into public discourse. And I'm sure our online viewers had me right. The Finance Control and Management Act of 1958. 1958 is still the main legislation governing financial operations of the government in Nigeria. Okay. Now, how has this non-review of this act impacted PFM reforms, in your view?
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much. The issue of review of the Public Finance Control and Management Act 1958 certainly is well overdue. And this certainly has some impact on the implementation of the PFM reforms. And the impact it actually has is that the fact that today we have a situation where we have our leaders that are supportive of the reforms. So the challenge and the risk is the fact that what happens if you have leadership that is not in support of these reforms. So that actually makes it very imperative and very important that the reform, the PFM reform is actually reviewed so that all the gains that have been made over the years can be captured in a document so that these reforms can be institutionalized, and so that, going forward, we'll have the risk of actually some of these reforms being thrown away will be at least minimized. But I must also say that a lot of effort is actually going on in this direction. I'm aware, and I know that we have done a draft of this reform. For the PFM, PFM, what we call now called a draft PFM Act. PFM Bill, Public Finance Management Bill. It was drawn, and the Honorable Minister of Finance has been making. AGF and the Honorable Minister of Finance have been making a frantic effort to see that it see the light of the day. I know that, in fact, before the last assembly, we actually got to a level where the draft bill had actually been endorsed from the Ministry of Justice. It was waiting for the for presentation to the Federal Executive Council, and when it never, we were not able to get through. But even of recent, in fact, as I speak to you right now, I have the document with me. We have the Honorable Minister of Finance is actually, as we speak, currently working on it to see that this this bill is also represented to the Federal Executive Council. I'm also aware that the Nigeria Law Reform Commission has also initiated process for the review of the Finance Control and Management Act of 1958. So it means that, and for us in the, at this end, from the office, from the AGF down to the Honorable Minister of Finance, it is, a welcome development that even the Nigeria Law Reform Commission is also looking at this act, which is actually long overdue for review. So it's a work in progress. A lot of things is happening behind the scene, and I'm sure before long, a new act, which we have for now, we christen it as Public Finance Management Act, PFM Act and Bill. So we hope very soon we'll be able to make progress. And we know that with the cooperation of the legislature, I know that they're also very conscious of this. And I know that the legislature will actually give it a very speedy passage with the level of understanding and cooperation that the legislature has shown. Thank you.
Because I followed this up to an extent. I know the Gabiru Kaya committee tried, at the last, legislative chapter that we had, and for whatever reason, it became a stillbirth. I am also glad to hear from you, and I have to believe you as member of our institute, that Madam Zainab is having a look at that legislation. Sometimes I want to cover my face in shame. I tell you, and I always say it at any public forum I get to learn, there are no nails starting to reinvent any wheel. Those wheels are there with us, there with you in your office, with the institute, and all she just needs to call upon us is, come on, and we're going to give it the feeling that is required. I can.
If I may tell you.
Excellent.
If you can see what I'm holding, this is a copy of it.
Yeah.
This is the draft bill. The draft bill that the Honorable Minister is looking at to actually forward to to present to the Federal Executive Council. So a lot of work has actually gone in, and it's actually ready for the presentation to effect. Yes.
Yes, I'm so glad, because we are talking about stakeholders, including members of the National Assembly. The National Assembly just needs to call on us, ICAN. And I'm not saying that because I am ICAN. I'm saying that because I know that there are things we can do. It's with us. If you are called upon, we will deliver the devil anytime, any day. And now, Mr. Zubair, welcome. One serious challenge, though, Nigerian government is facing today, and we'll set that repeatedly on ICAN on Air, is the issue of poor revenue generation. In your view, how do you think government can leverage technology to reverse this trajectory?
Well, thank you very much. I think the government is already leveraging on technologies. We know that it's already leveraging on technology by virtue of the fact that we already have, even the e-payment implementation, which started way back in 2009, was to fast track not just payment, payment for expenditure, but it's also a collection of revenue. Similarly, in 2015, the TSA e-collection was also introduced, or to also speed up the collection of revenue. And if you actually look at the data on the independent revenue collection, for instance, it has actually jumped, several fold. And also, of recent, as we speak, government has also there's also an approval for a new software, which is a revenue monitoring software that is being installed, so that online real time we can, and it is actually going to be deployed to the federal government owned business enterprises. And the whole idea is that we need to continue to monitor these government business entities, because of they spend their level of expenditure to us is on the high side. So we need to know, monitor the expenditure. And also, online real time, we want to be able to monitor the inflows as they are coming in, not what they declare. So a lot of things are going on, actually, and the government actually recognize the role of technology in actually improving the efficiency in terms of our revenue collection, something. So the technology is being explored from all angles to see how we can actually leverage on technology to see that we improve the revenue. And that's why you see that the Honorable Minister often, it tells you that, she tells the nation that the challenge we have is not, the challenge is that of revenue. So it's something that is in the mind and the right in the mind of the Honorable Minister, and a lot of effort is actually being, and energy is being deployed to see that this revenue is actually greatly improved.
So you see the quake, the breathing of our amiable minister, and from what I am hearing you say, she's thinking in that direction, either technology, either by way of control, either from the book you have written, TSA, how it has helped to block, leakages in the system. And we are saying the federal government of Nigeria and the rest of Nigeria are just seeing a tip of the iceberg. We have it aplenty within the institutes, and if we are called, these are knowledge and capacity we didn't just develop now. I have our members in and outside Nigeria who just press button, call them, they will deliver. I'm so happy. Now, I wanted to also now just ask you this, the NSPRS, the National Strategy for Public Service Reforms, a major catalyst within the component of Vision 2020. Just for the education of our viewers, what are the objectives of this NSPR and what are the major pillars? And how well have those set objectives been achieved in your view? Just briefly.
Okay, well, just quickly, the National Strategy for Public Service Reform, the core objective is to how do we is for government to actually achieve a world-class public service. So world-class public service will mean efficiency in service delivery and effectiveness in realizing objectives of a government, and it's also meant to enhance, improve governance, improve transparency and accountability, curb corruption. So these are part of the objectives of the National Strategy for Public Service Reform. And you know that we have the Bureau for Public Service Reform that is saddled with, is the agency saddled with monitoring the implementation by the various agencies that are involved in these reforms. So in terms of pillar, you have the PFM side, which is the Public Financial Management side, which is under the purview of the Ministry of Finance as one of the pillars. We also have the issue of improvement of civil service administration, which is under the head of the Civil Service of the Federation. We also have enabling, institution and governance. So these are, there are actually about four pillars under the National Strategy for Public Service Reforms, and these pillars are meant to, these pillars are actually under the purview of a certain government institution. Secretary to the Government of the Federation, head of the Civil Service of the Federation, national planning, the national planning and budget, which is now under the same, the Minister of Finance, Budget and National Planning, Minister of Finance, Budget, Finance, Budget and National Planning. Then we also, and PFM. So both PFM and are under the purview of the Minister of Finance. So the strategy is actually, and in terms of, in fact, it was to be done in three phases. We have what we call the rebuilding phase, which was supposed to have run from 2009 and 2011. We have the second phase, and up to 2020, because it was actually targeted at Vision 2020, with the hope that by 2020, which had gone by, which we have actually crossed, we should have a public service that is, That is a first class that deliver first class services that actually ensure that government policies are implemented to the letters and all that. So, and that even policies that are developed by civil servants are something that meet and that ensure that ensure inclusivity, that everyone is actually carried along in government service delivery system.
Thank you very much, Mr. Zubeiru. Time will not permit us to even look at more questions that I'd like to pose to you on IT. And I'm very sure that when next we call you, you'll come and share parts of there's so much imbued knowledge that you have. I want to thank you very much, and then also thank online listeners. I'll just give you just 30 seconds. Let's have your parting shots, your last word on this subject.
Okay, thank you very much. Well, I want to again thank the Institute for this very innovative idea. It's first of its kind. I'm not aware if any professional body anywhere across the globe is doing this. It's something that we should be proud of as chartered accountants, as members of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of Nigeria. And we say kudos to our president, our very distinguished president of the Institute, and members of council, and in fact, the entirety of members of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of Nigeria for this innovation. We know that the Institute is always an innovating institute. It's always in the lead, and it's our hope and prayer that this leadership, which we are known globally, will continue to sustain it. On the subject, thank you again, and I think I want to really appeal that I want us to probably continue to engage government. We need to know more of what government is doing. A lot of things is being done. Your members in the public sector are doing well. They are putting in their level best. So I think it will be nice to continuously engage our members in the public sector to engage them so that they can give us the public, and not just members of the institute, of what is going on in government and what they are doing and what are their little contribution to uplifting our country, Nigeria. Thank you.
And the executive team of our ICAN not only are looking at our old charter, getting these new chapters, exactly what you have just mentioned. I also want to thank our online listeners for tuning in. It's nice to have you and for your very nice comments. I'd like to also make an announcement that come tomorrow, November 10, we shall be celebrating International Accounting Day, or often some people call it International Accountants Day. And why not? We being accountants, we celebrate that on November 10 each year. And the celebration, of course, is to showcase the contributions of accountants to our and world economy. ICAN, your institute, will utilize the opportunity of this celebration, November 10, 2021, to acknowledge the great work accountants do to make businesses thrive, support the economy, and help people navigate the complexity of finance. Our great institute, within our new chapter on Old Charter, has lined up series of activities, including health work, essay competition for students of tertiary institutions, and press conference, among others. Please do join us. I'd like to also say that as we round up, we are going to be mentioning in a social diary that our institute admitted 1,242. 242 new members into its fold at the 68th induction ceremony that was held in Lagos. And we congratulate these new members and welcome them into this noble profession. And may I just say, if you enjoyed this program, our next episode is going to be November 11, 2021 at 6 p.m. West African time. And we are going to be looking at the topic, economic challenges and work pressures, work-life balance. And we'll be having Dr. Adegboyega Ogundele, a chief consultant, psychiatrists at the neuropsychiatrist hospital Aru Abekuta, who will be coming to educate us in those directions. Let me leave you with this, and I quote, "It is no longer about strategic development, it is about financial management," and that is attributable to Michael Jackman. Like I say, be the change you would like to see as we welcome the new inductees in the video we are going to play to you now. I remain yours sincerely, Akifatunke, your anchor, ICAN on Air. Bye for now.
May I request all inductees to raise your right hands to take the oath of allegiance by saying after me. When I say I, you put your name and then repeat other words after me. I do solemnly swear that I will bear true allegiance to the Institute of Chartered Accountants of Nigeria, that as Chartered Accountant, I will perform my duties and fulfill my obligations to the Institute and my current or future employers honestly, faithfully, and in accordance with the ICAN Act and the laws of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, that I will abide by the regulations and rules of professional conduct for chartered accountants and refrain from acts that will bring the Institute of Chartered Accountants of Nigeria and the accountancy profession into disrepute. So help me God. By the powers conferred on me by the Institute of Chartered Accountants of Nigeria, ICAN Act number 15 of 1965, as well as the authority vested in me by the Governing Council of the Institute, I now admit you all into the membership of accountancy profession. Congratulations to you all once again. I formally welcome you to the membership of an exciting profession and wish you every success in your future career. Thank you. God bless you all.